Jordan here with Iron and Grit. Today, in this podcast, we're going to talk about intermittent fasting and the plethora of benefits. I've done intermittent fasting for some time now. There's been months and months and months that I've done it in a row, and the benefits are incredible. And we're going to get into what those benefits are in this podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Iron and Grit merch. Shameless self-plug there. But we do have merchandise at ironandgrit.net. If you want to check out ironandgrit.net, I've got some new hats and some workout apparel, as well as some super soft, super comfortable hoodies if you want to check that out. Any product that you buy goes to support me in putting out more of these podcasts, so I appreciate it and enjoy the podcast. Hey everybody, Jordan Hosbine here with the Iron and Grit podcast. Today I want to talk about intermittent fasting, what it is, and why anyone would do it, and different methods on how to incorporate intermittent fasting into your life. So what is it? Intermittent fasting is when you fast for designated periods of time. So we're going to go very basic here with the explanation. So what is fasting? Fasting is when you don't eat for a period of time. Typically, I don't think there's any minimum amount of time to determine if you're fasting or not, but I would say at least 12 hours you would have to go without food in order to consider it a fast. So a common way or an example of how people do intermittent fasting and how I've done it in the past and how I've enjoyed it and have seen results from it, it's called 16-8 intermittent fasting, where basically you fast for 16 hours straight and then you eat within an 8-hour window every single day. So why would anyone do that? There's a few reasons. Mostly for its fat burning abilities. If you're eating less time during the day and have to cram all of your food within an 8-hour window, you're less likely to eat as much. Since most people will wake up, eat breakfast. Since most people are awake for 16 hours a day, they usually eat their first meal when they wake up, and then their second meal 4 or 5 hours after that, and their third meal 4 or 5 hours after that. And that only puts you at 10 hours after waking up. You've already eaten 3 meals, and you've got 6 more hours to go, so you're probably snacking and eating throughout those 6 hours. So intermittent with a normal eating schedule, if you're not fasting, you're just more likely to eat more food because you're going to be eating constantly. You know, if you're awake, there's a good chance that you're going to be eating. So that's one way that intermittent fasting helps you lose weight and burn fat, by cutting down your calorie intake just by naturally having less time to eat. So that doesn't always mean that you're going to eat less. You can still eat 5,000 calories within an 8-hour window. That's no problem. I've done it. It's just less likely to happen. And it also makes you more conscious and aware of your eating and of your food choices. It gives you more control over your urge and craving to eat. So it puts you in control. For me, for example, I'll be hungry if I do intermittent fasting, that 16-8 variety. I usually won't eat until noon, and my last meal is at 8 p.m. So I'll wake up around 5 or 6 in the morning, and then I won't eat anything until noon. And yeah, my stomach will be growling around like 10 or 11 a.m., but I just ignore it. Or I stay busy or focus on other things. And eventually, your body gets used to this hungry feeling, and it just adjusts to your new schedule. Because it realizes, hey, I'm not going to eat till 12, so I'm just going to focus on other stuff, because your body actually responds to a rhythm. It responds to a routine and a schedule. So that's why it's important to get on one, if at all possible. And it's always possible. So after a week or two of doing the intermittent fasting, your body will adjust and you'll no longer be hungry outside of that window. But man, when that window comes, about 20 minutes before it shows up, you're going to be starving. Your body's going to be like, hey asshole, it's time to eat. Feed me right now. And then you can just eat a big meal that's super satisfying and tastes better than ever before, because you're so hungry and your body needs it so bad. And then, you carry on with your day, have a productive afternoon, and then go eat another big dinner when you get home from work or after you're doing whatever you do. And then you still have time to maybe squeeze a snack in there before 8. So I like it. I think it's just, it kind of fits with my schedule. So unless I'm like in a serious bulk phase or anything, I'll do the intermittent fasting. It keeps me trim. It's kind of almost, I don't want to say a moral thing for me, but I like the idea of being in control and being able to be hungry, but decide that, hey, I'm in control here. We're going to eat when I say it's time to eat. So I don't want to have to give in to those kind of like limbic urges. So with that kind of comes a little bit of pride, I suppose, and being able to outlast some of my like basic instincts, basic urges to eat. So I mean, if you don't go for that kind of explanation or reasoning, that's fine. It's not for everybody. I get it, but undeniably, you will. The benefits of intermittent fasting are undeniable. I've done it. I've done it while training hard. I've lost a lot of weight, especially belly fat. I've kept muscle while doing it. There's been science and studies that do show intermittent fasting has the ability to prevent muscle wasting and actually build muscle. And it does that by increasing certain hormone production within your body to shield your muscles from being lost. And if you are working out intensely enough to actually build these muscles, you're going to keep them and you're going to build them. Just be sure to get your nutrition right, to eat a lot of your protein and get all your essential fats and fatty acids and vitamins and minerals within that 8-hour window, and you'll be fine. And you'll lose some weight on top of that. And you're going to save time. You're not going to have to cook breakfast anymore, or you can not have to cook lunch anymore, or whatever. So it's kind of nice to wake up early, 5 a.m., throw your clothes on, go straight to the gym. Don't worry about food. Don't worry about cleanup. Don't worry about any of that crap. You can just go. You can just go make it happen. Intermittent fasting is great for if you're on the go, if you travel a lot. I drink a lot of coffee, whether I'm fasting or not, but coffee does seem to curb my appetite. So, and it also kind of gives me a little bit of taste. And I'm talking about black coffee here. You can throw a little bit of cinnamon in there if you want. Some people, if they want to be sticklers about it, say, nope, can't have anything but water or it's going to break your fast. Black coffee's fine. It's fine for most of us. I mean, you don't have to be that technical about it. Drinking that little bit of coffee, that flavored bean water, is not going to do much to break your fast or cause any issues or stifle any of the positive effects that you might see from it over the long term. So speaking of other positive effects from fasting, you'll be a lot more clear-headed. You'll actually be sharper. Who was it? Ben Franklin said that a full belly makes the mind dull. And I think that's true. Because as we evolved, we had to be sharp. If we were trying to scope up a deer with a bow and arrow and we had a full belly, we're less likely to give a shit about hitting that deer because we're already full. But if you're hungry, you have tunnel vision, you're focused, and you're going to hit your mark when you let go of that arrow. So that's why people say when somebody's motivated or somebody wants something, they say that they're hungry, because they might literally be hungry. And when you're hungry, you're going to get after what you want to get, because you got to eat. So there is something to be said for that. There's something to it. I'm a fan of intermittent fasting. I'll fast a few days a week. I don't really do it much like as a lifestyle. I did it for a while, like for several months. I would fast. I'd do that 16-8 intermittent fasting that I mentioned. But now the only times that I'll fast is if I ate like shit the day before, or I was drinking the day before, or had like a lot of sugar or a lot of carbs, and just want to burn off some extra calories. I'll just skip breakfast the next day to kind of balance everything out, to equate everything out. And of course, then I'll go work out and get a good sweat on. So, yeah. Another reason that IF is cool is because you're going to allow your body, while you're fasting, you're going to allow your body to process waste and to repair itself. Digestion is when you're eating food, it has to digest. And digestion is a very, very, very tedious process. It's a very resource-intensive process. It takes a lot of energy for your body to break down food and to shuttle all these nutrients where it has to go, and to process the food and the waste and everything like that. So when you're fasting, you give your body time to, I'm starting to hate this word, but it's true, detox. So you detoxify a little bit, you cleanse yourself with yourself, because you're not putting new stimulants into your body. You're not putting new foods and outside chemicals and other quote-unquote toxins into your body that your body has to deal with and process, that kind of come with the food that you eat, in forms of pesticides and xenoestrogens and all kinds of different stuff that your body has to deal with, potentially as a threat. And that takes energy, it takes focus away from repairing yourself and doing other things. So I think it's a good thing to do, definitely. If you want to jumpstart a diet, 150% recommend doing some intermittent fasting for like 2 weeks, because you will see immediate progress, like nonstop. I mean, you will immediately notice a difference. Within like 2 days of fasting, you'll notice a difference. And if you stick to it and you're strict, you'll know, you don't even have to work out and you'll see a difference. So that's something to try out. There's other things I could talk about. I mean, I could probably do 4 or 5 different podcasts on this, talk for hours about it, but I'll cut it off there. I think that's a good takeaway. There are a lot of benefits for intermittent fasting. Actually, there's many ways to do fasting. We just covered the 16-8 method. So perhaps I'll do other podcasts focusing on other methods of fasting that might work better for you, given your particular tastes and your particular schedules and personalities. So thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to check out my blog, ironandgrit.com. I have a lot of good nutrition and workout advice on there. Follow me on Instagram at ironandgrit. And why don't you go ahead and give this podcast your stamp of approval. 5 stars would be incredible. And if it's not 5 stars, leave me a note. Let me know what you want to hear more about, or let me know why it wasn't great for you, or anything you did like. Also let me know, and I will try to provide more of that. The feedback is great. I'm enjoying the podcast. I hope you guys enjoy listening to me, and it's not just me talking to myself, which is fine too, because I'll do it because it's fun. So, all right, guys, have a great day. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.